Welcome back to Big Fish Little Fish Aquatics. So today we're going to do a real quick fish room tour. It's been about 10 months since we've done a tour, so I'm really excited to show you how things are moving along, some of the new additions to the fish room since the last tour. So sit back, relax and enjoy the video. Now before we get into the tour, I just want to call out that I've got some new merchandise now available on my Teespring, so feel free to pop along over there and pick up a t-shirt if any of them take your fancy. These have been designed and they're beautifully drawn by my wife, so please have a look, and if you feel inclined to do so, please pick up a t-shirt. It really does help us make sure that we keep the wheels turning here at Big Fish Little Fish Aquatics. Now enough of that, on to the video. Now first up on the tour is what I like to call myself my invertebrate rack. So in here we've got shrimp and crab, so let's just take a quick look. So in this first tank, this is my Blue Dream shrimp colony. They are doing amazing. I've had these now for coming on 2 years, and I'll share just a bit of footage of when I originally got them. The shrimplets which they were putting out were really not ideal. You know, I was having to do a lot of separating, splitting, just to make sure that I got the right amount of blue and that they weren't putting out bad offspring. But now their shrimp are doing really good. They're really very rarely putting out a shrimp which isn't a nice deep blue, and you can see even from the shrimplets that they've got quite a lot of blue on them even at such a young size, so that's always a good sign. So this aquarium, it's run using a single sponge filter here in the middle and a heater at the back. That's only during the winter time because I'm in a cabin and it can get quite cold here in the UK. And yeah, they seem to be doing really well. I did mix with them a bristlenose pleco a few months ago, and I've actually rehomed her now, so she's not here with me in the fish room anymore. And during the time that the bristlenose was in here, there was a shortage of shrimplets, so I can only assume that my bristlenose was picking them off. But since removing that bristlenose from this aquarium, the colonies really bounced back, and they're really putting on a bit of size again, and I should be ready to start selling these shrimplets in the coming few months. So next up, this is my vampire crab aquarium, and this has probably been getting a lot of the spotlight lately on my channel. I haven't been as regularly uploading at the moment. Life gets in the way, unfortunately, sometimes, but these guys are doing great. There's two adults in here, and I've got a video that I'm currently working on which is just documenting the crablets which are growing out. So you can see on the rock just here, there's one of the crablets in with the adults, doing really well. There's plenty of space in here for all of these crabs, but I am doing a little test. I've left some crablets in with the adults. I'm growing out a few in this container here, which in another video we'll touch on that, and we're going to see how well they grow and the optimum time to actually remove the crablets from the aquarium itself. If I just move this out the way so you can see in, so this aquarium is run using there's a sponge filter in here. That's mainly just to keep circulation in the water itself, stop it from going stagnant, and then underneath is a load of biomedia underneath all of these rocks, which is just acting essentially as the filtration in this aquarium. And then we have Exoterra matting above that biomedia, and then we have Exoterra coconut fiber, for the substrate, and that helps keep the aquarium, or paludarium, I guess some people would call it, but this is an actual aquarium itself, keeps it nice and moist. And you can see they've got live plants growing in here. These are real easy, low maintenance plants, but this is a crypt which is, I need to cut back a bit. It's getting so tall that it's actually growing out, could actually grow out the actual aquarium itself. And we've got some Anubias. When I had a lot more adult vampire crabs, and in a previous video I'll share those up in the top right hand corner if you're interested in taking a look at how these vampire crabs are doing, or how they've developed from originally getting them, but I originally had 5 vampire crabs, and the Anubias were being picked apart by them. But since losing a lot of the adults, the Anubias have had a chance to spring back into action. And if actually, what you can see right here, if I just move this light over, you can just see the female. She's hiding. Just let's see if I can pick her out. You can see her eye. There she is. And we'll just take a look at the back, because that's normally where my male hangs out. He normally likes to be well away from the water, which is why the little crablets I think are doing so well, because he's got a little territory at the back here. He's normally under one of these coconut shells. So I'll just lift up this one. No, he's not under there. He might be under this one here. Nope, so he's somewhere else. But actually, one good thing is these crypts have really started to separate and spread now. So you can see actually under here, if I lift this coconut, there's a leaf just growing out of the coconut fibres there, and that's come off of this crypt. There was some, let me see if I can find it, and you should be able to see here we've got a little leaves coming out here, which is coming off of one of these. I'm assuming it's this crypt here. So they're really starting to spread now, so soon this will hopefully be a mat of plant life, which the crabs can just wander around. So the male should be around here somewhere. I actually found his molt a couple of days ago, so he might be in the water still, with all the little crablets as well. You can see a couple of them here. There's 1, 2, 3. There's loads of them in here. Some days I count between 10 and 15 in here, and then in this little grow out I've got 8. Yeah, but we'll touch on the crablets in a future video. So in here is some of my new additions. Just some red cherry shrimp. These are Bloody Marys, and I got to tell you, the adults are stunning when they arrived, and I've had them for about 3 weeks, and we've got shrimplets now. You can see them all on the glass, sputtering all over the place. I am a big fan of Neocaridina shrimp. I actually quite like all of the shrimp. I would love to start to dive into Caridina one day, but I just haven't got all the tank space to just fill up with shrimp, unfortunately. But I do love my red cherries and blue dreams. Oh, and actually I've got a stowaway in here. It's one of my crablets, which has crawled out of that little tank I've got hovering above, so I'm gonna have to fish that out, otherwise I'm not gonna have many shrimplets left. So give me just a second. There we go, much better. And that is the only thing with crabs. It's obviously climbed out of, I've moved over onto this side actually, but it's obviously climbed out of this container. I don't know how, but they've obviously got good climbing. Climbed up this little ridge here and gone into what would have been this a tank here. So well, there's one thing to watch out for. Then I have to probably move the crablets probably back into the main tank, and just grow them out there. But anyhow, so yeah, so I've got 10 adults in here. They look really good, and I'll see if I can get some good footage of them, just so you can really appreciate how nice they're looking. So very early days of this colony. There's only 10 adults, obviously, like I said, but there is a lot, and I say a lot of shrimplets which are growing out at the moment. So in the coming months, hopefully, similar with the Blue Dreams, I'll be able to start selling some of these red cherries alongside the vampire crabs. Actually, the young vampire crabs, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep all of those, so we'll be looking to sell them on real soon as well. So now we're coming on to the fish, all my fish, which I spend a lot of my time talking about. So these are some of my plecos or loricarid catfish. In here we have L398, which is Panaqolus tankei. Now with these guys, I got them early this year, and there was a whole debacle around making sure I got the right species. I was originally trying to get 397. I'll put a link up in the corner so you can watch and follow what happened with those fish. But these are my Panaqolus tankei. I've got 2 females and a male in here, and you can see the males just hiding out in the cave here. And we actually had some real good news of these guys. A few weeks ago we had some breeding, they laid some eggs, Unfortunately, it's their first time, so unfortunately it looks like they just didn't quite work out how to fertilize them, so they were chucked out of the cave. I did chuck them in a tumbler just in case, but because there was no development after a few days, it did look like they were infertile. So they've all gone now, and we're just fattening up the female again, making sure the male's healthy again, and hopefully in a few weeks' time we'll get a bit more action. So in the tank next to my Panaqolus tankei, we've got Peckoltia compta, which is my leopard frog plecos. I've got 3 in here. I know I've definitely got a female, which is, she's here. I've added her to this aquarium a few months ago now. As you can see, she's looking real plump, so she's hopefully ready to start breeding real soon. I'll put a link up in the top right so you can see her journey. But essentially, yeah, she's been added in here with 2 others. The other 2 are quite tricky in terms of sexing. I believe they're both males, but they seem to be playing silly games with me, making it quite difficult for me to work out. But here's what I think is my actual male, and you can see he's just hiding in this. It's actually a plecoceramics cave. And that's pretty much what these guys do a lot of the time. Is they're quite shy. Two of them are wild caught, so they're a bit more finicky than my female, who's captive bred. But the 2 wild caught, there's one hiding behind this filter actually, because as soon as I turn the light on, normally that one stays in this tunnel, or cave should I say, right here, but has decided to go hide behind the filter today. These guys are similar to my Panaqolus tankei actually, and I didn't mention that on the video, so apologies. So run on sponge filters, heater obviously at the back. These guys are set at 26 degrees Celsius at the moment. There's been no real signs of breeding from these folks at the moment, so hopefully in a few months time we'll start getting a bit of action, but no rush for them at the moment. Okay, so the next tank, this is these are my favourite fish. These are the zebra plecos, L046 Hypancistrus Zebra, and I've got 6 in here at the moment. They're all doing really well. They've only just got to about 2 years old, so they're just reaching that maturity stage where you should start expecting breeding. And talking of breeding, we had some really exciting activity happening in here a few weeks ago. So we had a male and female trapping. They didn't lay eggs, and they parted ways after about 2 days. And then a week later they trapped again, and once again didn't lay eggs. So I can only assume it's a test run. They're just warming themselves up, ready for the big event. So hopefully over the next few months we should start getting some breeding out of these guys. They're all doing really well, all really healthy, well fed, and I think they're just ready to go. Really, the aquarium itself is run with an external canister filter. I have a sponge filter in there as well. You can see that on the right hand side, and that is I always have a sponge filter running in almost all of my aquariums, just in case there's ever any filter breakdowns. I've always got some form of cycled media that I can quickly chuck into another aquarium if I need to. And you can probably see just on the right hand side here, just at the edge, that's a wave maker. And that's just essentially to help with oxygen levels. So these guys are at 30 degrees Celsius in here at the moment, and you know, hotter water, less oxygen, less dissolved oxygen in the water. So you need to be very careful when keeping fish at higher temperatures, just to make sure that you are agitating the surface of the water so that there's enough dissolved oxygen for the fish. This tank is massively understocked. I've only got 6 in here. I have no intention of getting any more. They're definitely showing breeding capability. They're from different spawns as well, so you know they're not going to. It's not siblings which would be breeding with each other. So I have no need to mix up the genes or anything. So it's just a case of letting them mature, and then hopefully we'll start getting some breeding. And as always, with everything which breeds that I have, I'll make sure I document and share with you folks here on YouTube. Right, on to the next aquarium. Alrighty then, so next up we've got my snowball plecos, a dwarf snowball pleco, which is L471. They're a Hypancistrus species yet to be properly recognised or identified at the moment. So there's 6 in here, so similar to my Zebra Plecos, there's a 6 in here. I'm convinced that I have 5 males and 1 female, which is a real dodgy odds in terms of breeding these fish. So we'll see what happens really with these folks. They're a similar age to the Zebra Plecos. They're probably just a little bit younger, so I'm going to be giving them about another half a year just to let them mature in a bit and make sure that it is definitely a 5-to-1 ratio. And then if there's some challenges with getting these guys to spawn, then we may look at intervening, switching out a couple of the males, because they are a lovely fish. They're actually my most bold pleco that I have. When I put food into the aquarium, they're always out. They'll be snuffling away just to get the food. So they're real confident little fish, which is surprising as they, between them and the Zebra Plecos, they're probably the same sort of size and length. I'd say these guys are a little bit fatter in girth or width than the Zebra Plecos, but they're always out, and they're lovely fish. They're black, jet black bodies with these really bold white spots of really do pop. Unfortunately, my aquariums, they don't really lend to showing off these fish as what they would be if you keeping them in a typical community aquarium, because there's so many hiding places in here, and there's not really any other diver fish in the aquarium for them to feel a little bit more confident when there isn't food in there, and they're all just hustling and bustling out. But they certainly are lovely fish, and when against a backdrop of maybe a planted aquarium, they really do make the aquarium pop and catch people's eyes, and that saying goes really for all of the plecos that I have, and most plecos which are available in the market. There's so many amazing colours out there that you can get, but these are just the ones obviously that I'm focusing on here in my fish room. Similar to my Zebra Pleco aquarium, exact same setup. I have 2 sponge filters in here. I have 1 spare sponge filter at the back there. The air's running quite low at the moment, so I've turned it down so that you can actually hear me talk. It's quite loud in here when I've got all of the air running. And you can see at the back there's the one I believe is a female. Let me see if I can zoom in on her. And I think it's the one. I think it's the female. She's always hiding at the back most times. It seems to be just zooming in on a log rather than the fish. How annoying. Oh, here we go. No, that's a male, I think. You can tell by the spines on the fins. The female's still at the back behind the filter. Behind the filter over there. Well, you can't see, but she's behind the filter. So yeah, they're lovely fish. Absolutely, really lovely. And when they're really relaxed, they really do look quite amazing in the aquarium. These guys are set at 29 degrees Celsius, so they're not as hot as my Zebra Plecos. They can go as hot, but I've got these a little bit lower. I'm not putting them too hot at the moment. I'm just letting them grow out still. They're all growing really well. They all get plenty of food, and you can see on one side of the tank there's hardly any sand, and that's because of the wave maker. So similar to the Zebra Pleco aquarium, got a wave maker in here as well, and sand is probably the most inconvenient substrate when you've got wave makers, especially powerful wave makers. They just push it all out the way. Yeah, so that's my L471 Snowball Plecos. Okay, so the last plecos on this tour are my L397. These are Panaqolus species, so they haven't yet been formally recognised, but they're sometimes commonly referred to as the tiger pleco or L134 Peckoltia, which is the river, I believe, that they're found in the Amazon. And these guys, these are truly spectacular fish. Right now they're hiding quite a bit, but they have beautiful fins, especially when they're younger. When they're younger, they've got more of an orange and black pattern on their body. As they've got older, so these guys, I've had them now for probably 7 months, so they're reaching maturity age real soon. It generally takes them about a year to mature. They've got a much quicker turnaround than Zebra Plecos do. But these guys, I've had them for about 7 months, and what happens is the body goes a little bit duller, so it doesn't completely lose the lines, but it kind of just goes, it's not as vibrant as when they're juvenile, but the fins, they keep that vibrancy, and they look spectacular. They have this bright orangey red line, and then covering both sides is a very thin white strip, and then you've got the black, dark jet black bar as well. So yeah, they're a very lovely fish. These folks are actually similar to Panaqolus tankei, which we looked at earlier. They're xylivores, so that means they eat bits or things within or around wood. So you can actually see there's a few gatherings of wood leftovers and their feces, as they're such messy fish. I always find, compared to the Hypancistrus, such as my Zebra Plecos or Snowball Plecos, these guys produce a heck of a lot more waste than my Hypancistrus do, and then swiftly followed by my Peckoltia, who also have a slightly herbivorous diet compared to my Hypancistrus, which are primarily carnivorous. But yeah, so these folks, they love just sitting on the wood, hiding in the tunnels at the moment. I'm kind of letting them do their thing. I've got 7 in here, and I have not really been looking too diligently to make sure I've got different sexes. I'm kind of relying on the numbers and the variation in the spawns and where I've got them from to make sure that they actually are of a different sex. So I imagine in a few months' time I'll be checking just to make sure that I have got a nice even split, or at least a split of male and female. It looks like I have got that already in just eyeballing right now, but I'll be checking more when I know they're definitely at their maturity age. So similar to the Zebra Plecos and the Snowball Plecos, these guys are running on an external power filter. They've got a heater in there, and they have a little sponge filter on the side, and they also have a little wave maker, not as powerful as the Hypancistrus wave maker, but they do have another little wave maker in there as well, just to help with surface agitation. I've got these running at 28 degrees Celsius. Throughout summer I've had them at 26, but now we're getting closer to winter and potential breeding size. I've started to up the temperature, and we'll hopefully start to get some breeding action within the next 3 to 6 months from these folks, with a bit of luck. But yeah, so these are my L397. Okay, so that's the fish room tour. I really hope you enjoyed it. We've got so much going on at the moment. We've got the shrimp and the crabs. Breeding is in full swing. I'll be looking to sell those in the near future, so if you are interested, make sure you're following me on Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube, where you can get updates of when they're ready to be sold. And we've got the Plecos. They're nearly there. We're at that threshold where they're getting to the maturity stage, almost ready to start breeding. We've had Zebra Plecos trapping a couple of times, a few test runs from them. We've obviously had the 398s, the Panaqolus tankeis. They've actually laid some eggs. Unfortunately, the male just didn't quite know what he was doing when it came to fertilizing, so hopefully the next time they get round to it, we'll have some of those as well. So what I'll be doing from a Pleco side of things is I'll be making sure I document that here on YouTube and on my website, and I'll be putting breeding profiles on my website, so that any folks out there who are interested in breeding these fish that haven't done so yet, or if you have done so and then maybe might be doing something different, and we can obviously share what's working, what's not working, can head over to my website and digest what I'm doing with the water and things like that. So hopefully it'll be a nice knowledge base for anyone who's starting out into keeping Plecos. But yeah, so if you are interested again with the Plecos, obviously I'm based in the UK. Make sure you're following my Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, and I'm imagining in the next half a year we'll be looking at hopefully selling some as well. So if you are interested, then that would be a nice place for you to keep up and follow the channel. If you've made it this far and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. It always helps us grow, and it helps with the algorithm and things like that. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure you like the video. If you've made it this far, I'm assuming you have done, or you just really hate my voice and you just like hating my voice. As I said at the start of the video, we've got some new merch out there, so if you're a bit of a zebra pleco fan like myself, or a pleco fan, or even a crab fan, or a shrimp fan, we've got various t-shirts which come up throughout the year at different points, which are designed by us here at Big Fish Little Fish Aquatics. So if you are interested in picking up a t-shirt, we'd appreciate that. Please do so. And if you do pick up a t-shirt, take a picture of yourself with it and tag me in on my Instagram, and we can share that with folks, or maybe stand an extra fish tank or something. We can really start to share the community of everyone who's part of the Big Fish Little Fish Aquatics little group. So thanks once again for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.